freaking, I always pass out mirrors. I pass out mirrors to everybody that comes near me. I pass out mirrors. I'm like, here's a mirror, here's a mirror, here's a mirror. It's time for you to look in the mirror. It is time for people to start taking accountability for who they are, what they did, because everybody is in the blame game. Everybody's in the blame game. They commit the crimes and then they blame everybody else. That's what they freaking do. Blame, 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 blame. I blame everybody. It's never anybody's freaking fault. It is never their freaking fault. So I pass out mirrors all the time. Because they say, I'm the problem, I'm the problem, I'm the problem. They're going to come after you, but it's nothing to do with anybody else. Ever. It never has anything to do with anybody freaking else. And I think like it's so interesting because this is a big part of our shift as humans right now, is taking that accountability for what we have done to people around us and what we have done, how we have hurt them. And we essentially cannot get to any type of a higher timeline without this accountability chapter coming through, okay? So that's the chapter we're going into, is the accountability chapter. And it's uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable as F for these people, because these people look really good in the spotlight, really fucking good, really good, okay? And they have an image, and they have teams that created that image. They have lots of teams. They got lots of money into those teams. And now what happens? We're going into the paychecks. We're going into the money of the images. That's what's going to come through right now is how much money they put into that image, and then who gets that paycheck? Because they're not going to get a paycheck when that accountability starts coming through, because the rats are coming out. The rats are freaking coming out. I'm like seeing all the freaking rats scrambling right now. They're all coming out. And it's like, I know to a T. What happened to me was criminal and on a level that is so flippin' bad. And I have not gotten any justice. But I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. It never goes away. And everything that happened to me keeps coming up. It just keeps coming up. It never goes away. It comes up. It just keeps coming up. And it's getting worse and worse and worse because the crimes exist. They're there and they're not going away. They're just coming up. They're just getting worse. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. And the truths cannot be hidden because they're so obvious now. The truths were easily hidden, okay, in 2021. They're easily hidden in 2022. In 2024, you can't even hide them because they're so flipping obvious, because they're probably connected to the Barbie movie now, okay? That's how bad the crimes are. They're like in screenplays. They're fucking everywhere. And so you can't even freaking deny the freaking crimes because they're going to keep coming up. It's going to come up. It's going to come up. And the whole thing is like, okay, what does she know? What does she know? People want to know what I know. They want to know so badly what I know that they freaking go into my mind to see if I know anything. That's the desperation they're at right now. To see what I freaking know. Why do they care what I know? Why would somebody care that much about what I know if there was no one who was criminally implicated in the crimes against me? Why would they want to freaking know so bad what I know? It's so crazy. But that's the level. That is the level of desperation that these people are at right now. That is the level. Like, there is crazy ass stuff that keeps happening to me, guys. Like, crazy. Like, you're like out of a freaking movie, dude. I can't even tell you the stuff that goes on. There's like somebody in my freaking attic that yells at me if I don't do the right thing. I have someone that jumps up and down, dude. I have the most insane freaking life, guys. I can't even tell you. Like, it's so next level insane. They're I don't even, and I have no idea who any of these people are. I have no idea. But I swear to God, like with my headset, I probably have like hundreds of people that check in every day on my headset or in my energy, or they're looking for me. And I don't know why they're looking for me. Oh my God. I can't even tell you. I live in a freaking the craziest life ever. And I still have to maintain sanity. Okay, I have to maintain sanity. And I have zero money. They crashed all of my money, dude. They got into my bank accounts. They got into everything. I can't afford my phone payment right now. Like, this might be my last freaking video on my phone because I have no money for freaking phone payments right now. But I know that somehow I'm at the center of something that is so dark and so effed up. And like, no one has liberated me at all right now. But I know that it is so big because you would not put this much time and energy into somebody to destroy them. You would not waste this much resources on somebody if something really fucking big didn't happen to them. That's how bad it is. And it is, I know it is connected to so many freaking people in power. I know. And I know that it was all this dark freaking plot against me. And I know the level of this plot. I know how deep it goes because I know the freaking resumes of all the people who are around me. I know because I researched all of them. I know who they are. And right now, I don't know, like we're in this really strange freaking time. We're in this really strange time because it's like this is where what it feels like energetically is that there's no accountability because if you say work for a government agency, who are you following at that point? You're following what? A boss? You're following a boss, right? So why would there be any accountability if you're just listening to a boss of yours, okay? If you're in the military, okay, and you're getting a command from a general, okay, so you're just doing your job because you're just following along what the general says. So why would there be accountability with anyone in military, right? And like right now, we are really at the forefront of who we are as a country. Are we a true democracy if our own government and military doesn't operate as a democracy, if we do not value human rights, if we do not value constitutional laws? One of my subs sent me a really amazing post by it was an army sergeant, and whoever they are, they wrote a really amazing, very well written post on Quora, and I will share it on my community page. But it talks about the values of the oath, taking that oath. How many times on my channel do I talk about the oath, you know? We take an oath. That oath is so important because you break that oath, you break the country, you break the democracy if you do not follow the oath. If you turn on your own people, we are nothing. We are nothing. And that was something I always really put emphasis on it on my channel. I did a freaking video in 2021 about dividing and conquering, and talking about how the enemy went into the hotbed of our country, which was racism. Okay, they went right into it, and I talked about it, and it was so taboo, and I got so many harsh comments, but that was the enemy, shutting me down. How could you talk like that? Why would you talk like that? I talked about an abortion story on my channel, and everybody just assumed that I had the abortion. No, I went into that clinic with my friend. I supported my friend in that moment. I supported her. I put my values aside, and I decided in that moment to show up for a friend. Because I cannot sit here and be in her shoes and understand what the hell she was going through. And I was the only friend that took her to the clinic. And I watched everybody freaking yell at us, okay? I watched them and what they did to us, okay? And that is not something I would ever freaking do personally. That's my personal, opinion or my value. But I did not cross or pass any judgment against that friend. Ever. I never once looked at her in a negative light, ever. I supported her on her journey because that's what a real Christian does. That's what a real Christian freaking does. But you know how people come in here and think I had a freaking abortion? And they're just gang stalking me because they think I had an abortion? They're probably Christians. That do that shit. It takes a lot more strength to put your own personal belief system aside and support somebody, okay? Because they're your friends. That takes a lot more. Takes a lot more to do that, okay? To step out of judgment. That's powerful. That's some real soul shit right there. Real soul shit. Stepping out of judgment. Stepping out of judgment. Okay? And I stood by her. I stood by her. I stood by her. And her story turned out beautiful. Beautiful. But a lot of people probably didn't even watch that video. They didn't even watch that video. Why? Because they're judgmental assholes. That's why. That's why. But I'm still dealing with that shit. I took that video down. I don't think that's even on my channel anymore. I have gone through so much torture and abuse through content placed on YouTube. I had a growing freaking channel. I was getting so many viewerships. I was getting, I was doing all kinds of stuff. And the enemy came right on in. They saw my light and they wanted to steal it. They wanted to steal my light. Steal it. They wanted to steal everything, how I think. They didn't understand how I think. You know what? When you get laid off twice by 2 corporations, you think differently. When you live in a freaking rough neighborhood in Los Angeles, you think fucking differently. And they don't like that. They don't like that I don't think like they do, right? They don't like that. I also worked in Manhattan. Yeah, I worked at the fucking elite architecture firms. I worked with the elite. I was around all of the money. I could have married for wealth. I could have married, but I'm not that fucking shallow ass person. And people don't like that. They don't like that. They don't like that. But I personally can't do that because my soul can't do that. I get sick. I get physically ill. I get sick in offices that don't have fucking windows. And I live in basements, okay? I can't fucking function in places like that. Well, they freaking took me out. I got sick. I got physically sick and they were out to destroy me. I haven't talked about that story. I haven't really gone into that story. I glazed over it, but I'm realizing the level and the sickness of these corporations. I'm realizing the men in black are fucking real. They're real. I never understood that. I never really understood that. But it's real. It's freaking real. You know why? Because it comes down to the money and the image and the reputation. So what are we up against? We're up against corporations. That's what we're up against. Those are the people producing everything. Today I was putting on, I was checking, I was going to putting on deodorant and I was just checking if I need to put on deodorant. And I was thinking, I was like, oh my God, I just switched out suddenly and just used a guy deodorant, okay? I'm not going to go into the story behind it. But anyway, and then I thought today, wow, this smells differently than the deodorant that I would normally be using, the one that you would buy in the freaking store, right? I haven't bought that deodorant in a really long time. I make my own deodorant now. But it's like, I was thinking to myself about how scared I always was to use deodorant. Like, always so scared that I was going to get breast cancer from using deodorant. And then I was thinking today, like when I smelled the deodorant that I was using, I was like, there's something about this that's different. Like, there's something different about it. And I was like, and then I thought, how come no men ever get breast cancer? Like, why don't men ever get breast cancer? And I was like, I wasn't scared to use that deodorant, but I'm scared to use the female deodorant. And then I was like, is there something going on with the female deodorant? And who makes the female deodorant? And why is there all these breast cancer centers everywhere around the world? You know what I mean? Like, that's something like my mom instilled that in me as like a little girl. Like, she's like, be careful about the deodorant. Be careful about deodorant. Like, she was like, always tell me, like, after I shower to wait, 10 minutes or so before I put deodorant on. That's something that was always coming through about deodorant. And I was like, why don't men get breast cancer? But I always felt that it was something connected to the deodorant. So it's like, what is really going on? So this is the stuff that I think that is gonna start to come out. I think that this is the stuff this is the rats. These are the rats. This is what's gonna be starting to come up. And it's not small stuff. This is not small potato stuff. This is big stuff. Okay? And so everything is going to continue to come to the light. And I hope that at this point in time that the light shines, man, on the people who are the original, okay? The people with the original thoughts, ideas, minds, gifts. Because right now, there are people on me, they're trying to make me believe that I am an alien. This is the latest one. I'm an alien. that I never had any kind of psychic abilities or gifts. This is what they're trying to do to me now. They're basically trying to recreate me into what they want to fit into their box right now. And these are the things that they're trying to do to me. Trying to take away my gifts that they steal to create their little Stargate systems for everybody else to fucking have joyrides in, okay? They steal, they take, and they make billions off of it. Billions. So right now I'm just gonna try to get us some messages about all of this. We have the Ace of Wands coming through with like a new beginning. So, I think right now it is about us forging forward with a new path, new agenda. There's also, as we're ascending, as you ascend, this is what happens. As you ascend certain energies in your life, you're ascending fear, you're ascending trauma, okay? You're ascending all those energies. So once you start to ascend those energies, okay? Somebody's trying to freaking get into my portal right now. Get the hell out. Get the hell out. Get the hell out. As you ascend those energies, because that's part of ascension. Ascension is ascending your trauma and your fears and everything that's happened to you that has put you into a debilitating state. So as you ascend, you're ascending all of that. So essentially, when you get to a certain level, you don't have fear anymore. You don't have those fears, and you don't see people the same way because you worked through a lot of those traumas already. So you see people on a more even playing field, and you don't respect people just because you're told you have to respect them. Like, you see people for who they are. You actually see right through their persona or their image. You can see right through it. And that's part of the shift. That's part of us growing spiritually, is that we can see right away who a person is. And it's like, you just have that intuition of like, oh, you see them and you didn't see them before. That's the ascension shift, okay? And so with that, you can't actually be around people anymore when you see them, because then you can feel their ugliness. You can feel that energy, and you get sick. You can get sick around them. You get physically sick, you get ill, and you're like, I gotta check out now. I gotta get away from them. So that's part of the shift, is that essentially people can't be around these people anymore. Once they wake up, they can't physically be around them anymore. It makes them sick. And they can't actually like play into it either. They can't play into that whole role of everything, I feel like, it's like once you see something, you can't unsee it anymore. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't undo a life experience. You can't undo it. It never ever goes away. That life experience has forever imprinted in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, and you can't undo that life experience anymore, okay? And that growth, you can't undo the growth. You can't undo what you learned. You can't undo the lesson. The lesson is there. It sits. And if you just let that just sit and you don't do anything, you'll get sick. You get sick. You will get physically ill. So you have to rise. You have to say, okay, I'm not playing into this anymore. This is bullshit. And I'm going to call all you out. That's where we're at right now. I'm going to call all of you out. We're all going to step up and we're rising now. That's how this is how it's going to go down. And it's not because this is how it's been done before. That's not here anymore. That doesn't exist. How it's been done before doesn't matter. It doesn't freaking matter anymore. That's where we're at. We broke through that. We have broken through that veil, okay? And that's that Ace of Wands. We're going into a new beginning right now. And we have to just come through forthright. Breaking through the barriers of the fear. The fear is an illusion. It's a complete illusion. And so we have to break through all of that. We have to realize that that's the illusion, is the fear. And I think we're seeing it a lot. I think we're seeing it across the board right now. We are seeing this breakthrough energy. But I am going to reiterate and post everything that Army Sergeant posted on Quora. I don't know. I kind of want to copy and paste it because I just want you guys to read it if you guys don't have Quora. But it's like, just talking about the democracy and the oath, and talking about police officers and military and how important that oath is, okay, to honor, and that there are laws that are broken through gang stalking and through what has been done to me. There are laws, and underneath lists every single law that is broken through gang stalking. It's a lot of freaking laws, man. This is criminal stuff. And we are at a place, and they said, it goes both sides. It is both sides, Democrat and Republican. And I believe that, I believe that. I believe that it can go both ways, I'm not going to sit here and say, it doesn't. But it's like we have to freaking, rise. We have to stand up for human rights. I said, if I don't matter to my country, if I don't matter and my human rights don't matter, we are in deep peril. Yeah, we are in deep peril. We are in deep peril. Somebody in my energy field said peril, so I'll give them credit for that. We are, okay? Because if you can take one, if I was infiltrated through a foreign dignitary, which I believe I was, if you can take one, they can take all. They can take all. I am important. I am fucking important. I am an important voice. I matter. Because if I could be infiltrated, that means anybody can be infiltrated. That's what that means. And you know what that means? We can be taken. All of us can be taken if no one stands up for me. That's what it means. It means our country is done. 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 That's how important it is. That is how important it is for us to all stand up. We have to do what's right. We can't be following. I'm getting phone calls. Sorry. It's like AT&T calling me for my phone bill right now. Sorry, AT&T. Sorry about that. I guess I'm not paying you. I guess you're probably going to turn off my phone. So that's where we're going to be at. Sorry about that. I guess I'm not paying you. I guess you're probably going to turn off my phone. So that's where we're going to be at. Anyways, so I'm going to leave you guys there. Don't worry, she's being watched. Don't worry. Don't worry, she's being watched. Don't worry. That's another thing. She's being watched. There is another parent in the house for anyone who's worried. Anyways, I'm wishing you guys so much love and blessings, and I will talk to you all of you 53 people later. I love you guys so much.